What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon. Today's card of the day is Regirock EX. Regirock EX is from Fates Collide, though it has a pretty good ability that has seen some success before in other archetypes. Regirock EX has not really seen the light of day in competitive play, though I think that this card does have some potential. Maybe it will find some use somewhere with fighting type Pokemon starting to make a comeback here in the months to come with some strong fighting type Pokemon on the horizon. Wanted to do a card of the day on Regirock EX just to get these ideas out there into the open so maybe they can be tossed around and maybe Regirock EX ends up being useful. Maybe it doesn't. Anyways, I think this card is super cool and hope it the best as far as competitive play goes in the months to come. Regirock EX is a basic Pokemon EX with 180 hit points. 180 hit points, good amount of hit points for a basic Pokemon EX, especially since this thing is going to be a bench sitter. It's not a weakling. This thing is going to be used almost entirely for this Regipower ability, and 180 hit points, just a good amount of hit points to have if you're going to be squatting it out on the bench for pretty much your entire existence. This ability, Regipower, reads the attacks of your fighting Pokemon, excluding Regirock EX, do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. So this has been used in these Crabominable decks. If you have seen any of these Crabominable decks, Regirock EX goes pretty well in there. Just being able to boost Crabominable's damage output does a lot of damage for just that one fighting energy, and I think that you could start to see Regirock EX crop up in the months to come, especially when Buzzwole GX gets released. Buzzwole GX has this attack that does 30 damage to the active Pokemon and 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for just one fighting energy, very similar to Landorus EX, if anybody is familiar with Landorus EX. Regirock EX can boost Buzzwole's damage output by 10 for each Regirock EX that you have in play. So, if we're thinking about this in a Buzzwole context, you can use Regirock's Regipower ability to boost Buzzwole's damage output from 30 to 40 damage to the active Pokemon and 30 to the bench. If you were to, say, for example, have 4 Regirock EX in play, then you would be doing 70 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 30 to one of their bench. If you combine that with strong energy, you're going to be doing 90 damage to one of your opponent's active Pokemon and 30 to the bench. If you attach Choice Band to Buzzwole, then you are talking about doing 120 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 30 to the bench. Then, if you were to, say, use a Fighting Stadium against an opponent's Pokemon EX, then you would be talking about 140 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and 30 to the bench. So that is a grand total of 170 damage for just one fighting energy on a Buzzwole GX. So that's pretty crazy. Regirock EX can really get in there maybe to help fix some numbers and just to get that Buzzwole GX up over the hill. Maybe you want to be doing things like knocking out an opponent's Zoroark GX in one hit. Zoroark GX has 210 hit points. So Buzzwole GX can do 30-30 for one, 50-30 for a strong energy. It could do 80-30 for a Choice Band and a strong energy, 80-30. So in order to get to the place where we're knocking out a Zoroark GX in one hit, you would have to have 3 Regirock in play so that you could do 110 to the active and 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And Regirock EX can help you get there. So, it could be used in a Buzzwole deck in the future. I think the Regirock EX has proved itself to be relatively useful in these Crabominable decks, this kind of rogue archetype that we have seen, popping around at League Cups lately. And, I think it does maybe have some promise alongside Buzzwole. I think Buzzwole will have a variety of different partners. You can either try Regirock EX, maybe Decidueye GX. You could maybe try even Golbat, kind of bringing back those Landobat streams where Landorus was paired with Crobat, so why not pair Buzzwole with Golbat? You could even call it Swolebats. Already thought ahead. That probably won't be very good, but hey, just throwing ideas out there, trying things out. That's kind of what this brainstorming process is all about, and this is why I wanted to review Regirock EX, just to be able to talk about some potential applications here in the upcoming months. It does have an attack, Bedrock Press, for 3 energy. It does 100 damage. Says during your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20. So 100 damage, kind of like the same as Armor Press from Golisopod GX, reducing that damage dealt to it by 20. To round things out, Regirock EX has got no resistance, a weakness to grass, and a retreat of 3. So for a bench sitter, a retreat of 3 is a little bit annoying. I mean, if this thing gets trapped in the active position, you are either probably going to have to find a Floatstone or a Guzma to be able to retreat this thing back to the bench and get your appropriate attacker back out into the active, because I doubt you're going to be going in with Bedrock Press too terribly often unless you are accelerating to this thing with a Carbink Break or something like that. So Regirock EX, I think, pretty well-rounded Pokemon. I was saying that this kind of ability has seen success before. It really reminds me of that Deoxys from the Plasma archetype that existed a few years ago. Plasma, the Deoxys, what it did for the Plasma archetype was that it increased damage from Plasma-type Pokemon or Plasma Pokemon by 10 damage, so for each Deoxys that you had in play. So Pokemon like Thundurus EX that did 30 damage to the active could be boosted with, your Deoxys. If you have 4 Deoxys in play, you could boost Thundurus's Raiden Knuckle attack from 30 to 70. If you had a Muscle Band on, you can Raiden Knuckle for 90 damage, which was pretty impressive. So the cool thing about Deoxys, though, was that it boosted the damage output of all your Plasma Pokemon, not just one type. So, for the whole Plasma archetype, you had Kyurem, which Kyurem's damage output, he was a non-EX, did like 130 damage. And then you could easily boost that up with Muscle Band. You could do 150. And then with your Deoxyses, you could easily put that over the edge to knock out Pokemon with 170, 180 hit points. And then it also boosts the damage of your Thundurus. And then also Deoxys was a valid attacker in its own right. Regirock EX more or less pales in comparison to this Deoxys just because it only boosts fighting types damage output, and it doesn't really have a very good attack, and it's just got a very hefty retreat cost as well. So that's it for Regirock EX. He's all right. Maybe he has a place in the upcoming format with these new fighting type Pokemon coming out. Let me know what you all think of Regirock EX in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.